It was crazy. I did not expect it at all. I love this with my whole soul. The next book I read actually made me sob my eyes out while I was reading it. I was so lost, and I'm sat here thinking, like, have I actually read this book? I hope you guys are doing well and are having the most incredible day as always. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, we're going to be going through all of the books I read throughout the month of July, and when I tell you guys I smashed it, I am so proud of myself. So if you guys didn't see my July TBR video, essentially you guys will know how many books I had to read in the month of July. And I say had to read in the month of July, I just have a few reading vlogs that I had to get done and also a few in the works that I really needed to start and to kind of get going. It really kicked my ass in gear because I don't want to say it, I read 16 books in the month of July. 16 whole books. Honestly, I know that reading is very subjective in terms of, like, you don't have to read a million books. You can read one book, you can read no books, you could read 30 books a month. It really doesn't matter. But for me, 16 is the most books I've read in one single month, and I am so incredibly impressed with myself because I actually stuck to my TBR for the most part. Like, I was very close, do you know what I mean? Like, I think I only missed maybe 2 or 3 books off the original list, one of which is Problematic Summer Romance. That is my besties book club pick, which is linked down below. Unfortunately, I didn't quite finish it in the month of July. I was very close to finishing it, so I will include that in August wrap up. But other than that, I read 16 books and I'm so proud of myself. So without further ado, grab yourselves a coffee, a tea, a snack, and let's dive into all the books I read throughout the month of July. Also subscribe because I'm really proud of myself. I am going to apologise now that if any of my descriptions on any of these books seem so completely sparse and really like short and sweet, like, it's probably because the actual storyline has come and gone so far out of my brain, but I'm really going to try and remember as much as possible. So the first book I read in July was actually mine and Kelsey's book club pick of the month, which is the Across the Pond book club, which is also linked down below, and that is The Tenant by Frida McFadden. Now, I love a Frida book because I can binge a Frida book in like 1 to 2 days. It's like nothing. Like, I find her books so easy to binge, which was a really good start for the month. I don't know whether this just kicked me in the right direction of like reading something super quick, and it kind of made me like kind of chop, do you know what I mean? But this one was really interesting. So this one basically was mainly in the male POV, which was really fun and a little bit different. And essentially what this book is about, it's basically about a guy and his wife. Cannot remember their names, I won't lie to you. I'm not even going to try and pretend. Blake is his name. Basically, Blake and his wife are kind of struggling a little bit with money, so they decide, do you know what we should do? Let's just rent out a room to like a tenant. Let's get some extra money in, like it will help cover the mortgage. And they kind of and ah about it for a while, but then they think, do you know what, actually we should do that. Like, let's actually be responsible and let's kind of help the situation. So they end up taking in someone. I want to say her name is Chelsea. No, her name is Whitney. That is her name, it's not Chelsea. Her name is Whitney. They basically take in Whitney and it's all going well, and then things start happening that is a little bit strange. Like, there's a lot of flies everywhere and Whitney seems to make a lot of noise, and like, it's kind of not the worst roommate situation, but it's a little bit annoying, and Blake is a bit like, what is going on? Like, why is all this happening? Like, she's being really weird. I cannot tell you anything else about this book without spoiling it, but guys, the plot twist had me on the floor. It was crazy. I did not expect it at all. For that reason, I gave this one a 4-star. It was so fun, and I do love Frida's books. Like, all of Frida's books are a 3+. Most of them 4 and 5 stars. Most of them 5 stars, to be honest with you. Like, I really loved this one. It was really fun, and I love the plot twist at the end. I did suspect a little bit kind of what was going on, but it was very hard to be accurate because it was just so, like, it was so smart, and I was like, I did not see that coming. It was so good. So highly recommend The Tenant if you guys are humming and ahhing about it. It was really good. So yeah, a 4-star from me. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. The next book I read in the month of July was The Frontrunner by Elsie Silver. This one I'm going to be a little bit sparse with, I won't lie to you, because I started this one in June and I finished it in the month of July. So this one is basically about Stefan and Mira, and essentially if you've not read any of Elsie Silver's books, especially this series, it focuses on cowboys, it focuses on horses, on a ranch. Like, they're all very interconnected and they're all like found family-esque, if you know what I mean. But Stefan basically is seen as like the evil guy. Like, no one really gets on with him, especially from the main like characters from the other books, they all just seem to hate him, they don't get on with him, and Mira is the vet, and she ends up having to work with Stefan because there's a few things going on, and she kind of has to put all their hate behind her and kind of help his animals and that kind of thing, and that's kind of how they form this friendship. But she doesn't want anyone else to know about it because he is seen as like the evil guy, if that makes sense. It's a very fun, little bit spicy kind of vibe. It was a 4-star read from me. I did really enjoy this one, but it's basically just a fun cowboy romance between like a guy who owns horses and the vet. Like, it's really fun. There's a scene with, like, I can't say because it will spoil it, but there is a very intense scene, and boy did that keep me on my toes. I was so nervous about that, but it really kind of held the book together, and it kind of made the book just so much more heart-wrenching and so much more enjoyable. I really love this one, and this whole series as a whole has been really fun and really like fast-paced, fun to read, easy, and I would highly recommend. So this one, again, a 4-star read. Thoroughly loved that one. The next book we have is Silver Elite. Now this one, again, this is going to be one of those books. I absolutely freaking love this book. Now, can I tell you the ins and outs of the story without spoiling it? Absolutely not. But what you need to know about this book is it's basically about a girl called Ren who kind of has this power. So a lot of people in this world have these powers, and if they have the powers, they're almost seen as the kind of bad, evil people, and they are sentenced to death, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like Powerless, but like the opposite way around. It was really interesting. But essentially Ren has this power, however she doesn't have the gift of her veins kind of showing when she's using this power, whereas everyone else, when they use it, it kind of shows everybody else that they're using it, and it kind of gives away that they have it. Does that make sense? Anyway, then Ren basically kind of witnesses something really traumatic, and she ends up kind of being summoned then to go to this like camp thing. It's very hard to explain it, but it's kind of the same vibe, but not as like Fourth Wing and that kind of thing. Like, if you like Fourth Wing, Powerless, and that kind of vibe, I feel like you would enjoy this because it was a very fun, world buildy, like there's powers involved and there's like a romance involved, and like the guy is really bad but kind of good at the same time. It was kind of that sort of vibe, and that is why I loved it. I gave this one a 5-star. This is definitely one of those books I would love to reread because I feel like the more I read it, the more knowledge of this book will stick in my brain, if that makes sense. Overall, this one was a 5-star read. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and if you guys want to read this one, I highly recommend, because I did hear some very mixed reviews about this book, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I was really nervous about diving into this one, but it was just really fun and really different, and I thoroughly enjoyed. So that is the next book I read. The next 3 books I picked up were all for a reading vlog, which is up now. If you guys want to go and watch it, make sure you do. You guys will see my raw kind of in-time reactions to these books, so I'm just going to give you like a brief rundown right now. So the next book I picked up was, of course, Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This one was a 5-star read. I don't even need to tell you how much I fucking love this series. Like, this series is so enjoyable, it's not even funny. I love this with my whole soul. It's so good, and I cannot even tell you what this book is about because it will completely spoil books 1 and books 2. But essentially this does basically leave off from book 2. It goes straight into it with book 3, and it was just really enjoyable. I thoroughly had a great time, and I know some people who have kind of loved book 1 and drifted off book 2 and book 3 and not loved them as much, but every book for me I've really enjoyed. Book 1 was a 5-star, I think book 2 was a 4, and this was a 5. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. If you guys don't know what Powerless is about, essentially it is a trilogy so far with a novella, and it's basically about people who have powers, and you mainly focus on one certain person who doesn't have a power, and she pretends that she has a power to kind of be included. It's really hard to explain it in a good way. It's just fantastic. You guys have to read it, and it was a 5-star, of course. It was so good. The next book I picked up, again, was for the same video, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This one, unfortunately, was a 3-star. I mean, a 3-star for me isn't a terrible book. It's like, I enjoyed it while I was reading it. Would I recommend it? I don't know, like, it's kind of up to you, do you know what I mean? But this one, as I said, was a 3-star, and I did have a fun time reading it. But I feel like for me, a historical fiction kind of vibe, like, it's just too much. My brain was not braining for the majority of this book. I couldn't even tell you what this is about. All I can remember, this is an romance between somebody who's so pure and so sweet, and then like this other person who seems nice, but then also there's another person involved between them. It's all a bit bizarre, and I just got so confused reading it. Like, while I was reading it, I was so lost. It just baffled me. Like, it really baffled me. So it's honestly gone in my brain and left straight away. So unfortunately, I don't remember an awful lot about this book, but yeah, it was a 3-star. Next book I picked up was Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. This one was hilarious. Like, I found myself absolutely cackling at how funny this book was. It was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This one was really funny as well because the actual plot of the story, it sounds so random, but it worked so well. So essentially your main female character works in a job where it's mainly men and they're all married, they have kids, they don't have kids, like they're all very like happily married and that kind of thing. And she instantly feels left out of conversation, so she just pretends, you know what, I'm actually married, but I'm not wearing a ring because our marriage is kind of on the rocks and we might be getting a divorce. And her boss basically says to her, like, well, you can speak to my partner because they're actually a really good relationship therapist. And she's like, oh. And he's like, oh, but also we're all going to go on this big couples retreat all together with work, so you can bring along your husband. And she's like, right, I don't actually have one, so I have to go and find a husband. Enters her best friend's brother, who's like a really fun, like dark haired guy with a lip ring, and he's just like so funny. And honestly, it was so good. Like this book also has artwork in it, which was just so enjoyable. Like I loved looking at the artwork as I was reading it. Again, if you guys want my full thoughts and opinions on this book, like feel free to watch the vlog because it was just hilarious. Like it was such a funny book. This one I gave a 4-star. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly would recommend, and definitely my favourite Megan Quinn book that I have read so far. The next book I read actually made me sob my eyes out, and that is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. This book was so good. Actually makes me emotional thinking about it. But basically this one is about Vanessa, and she is a YouTuber. She also has ALS. Is it ALS? I think it is. She basically has the possibility of getting ALS, right? So she is very kind of living in the moment. She's very much the life's too short kind of person. Like she does everything she wants to. She's very like spontaneous and fun, and she also is looking after her sister's daughter. Then enters, what is his name? Adrian. He lives next door. He's a very successful business person. He owns the building. Like he's a very rich, successful person, and he ends up knocking on her door because the baby is waking up him and his girlfriend. So he's like banging on this girl's door like, can you stop the baby from crying? And she's like, no, I can't. He ends up going into the house so she can have a shower, and they instantly become friends. Then 5 minutes later, him and his girlfriend break up. It's not a spoiler. It is literally within the first 30 pages, if that, like they break up because of certain thing. I won't spoil it. It was so random, but she had to go. You know, we weren't really shocked by the situation. Anyway, him and Vanessa end up becoming very good friends, but Vanessa is obviously hiding this big secret that she might have ALS. She's starting to worry about it because her hand's like hurting, and certain people in her past have passed away, and it is like a possible hereditary thing. So she is worried that like, I might not be here next year kind of thing. And it is just so heartwarming. I sobbed my eyes out. It was beautiful. Sorry about any noise, by the way. My window is open because it is muggy in here. Anyway, this book made me sob. It was a 5-star read. It was so good. This one was my favourite out of the whole series. It was absolutely beautiful. I would recommend reading the series because I think it adds so much more value to the stories because they are interconnected, so you do see snippets of each person kind of in between each of the books, if that makes sense, but you don't have to read them. But I would really recommend this one. So good. 5-star, beautiful, incredible. I could talk about it all day, but we're going to move on. Then we have My Dark Desire by Parker S. Huntington and LJ Shen. This one was also featured in a reading vlog, which I think might be coming soon, so make sure you keep your eyes out for that one. This one was really interesting because I wasn't overly excited about diving into a 500+ page book about romance and spice. I do love a spice, but 500+ pages was just a little bit much in my opinion. Like it was a little bit daunting, but this one was so fun. This one focused on Zachary and what was her name? Farrow, I feel like her name was. This one is a very much Cinderella retelling. It's spicy. Essentially, Farrow ends up breaking into his house to steal something for a specific reason, and he catches her and he basically says, look, either I can make you get arrested or you can work for me as my maid and basically work for me here. Honestly, it sounds really weird and such a random plot line, and it seems like it wouldn't make sense, but it is a beautiful story. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I do go into a lot more detail in my reading vlog, so make sure you guys go watch that one. But basically, yeah, it was beautiful, it was fun, it was very spicy, but it just was really entertaining, and I really did enjoy this one. This one I gave a 4-star. Again, it was just really fun. I think I gave the first book in the series a 4 as well, and if you guys like spice and you like romance and you like funsies, very good. The next book was by Chloe Leese, and that is Only and Forever. This one is basically a book about Tallulah and Vigo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I didn't love this one. Could I tell you a single thing about it? Absolutely not. I honestly don't remember. This one I gave a 2-star. It was nothing overly exciting, and I have said this before, like this is the 7th and final book in the Bergman Brothers series, and I loved like book 1. I thought book 1 was great, book 2 was okay, book 3 might have even been great, but after that they were just very much copy and paste. Someone has a disability, they shouldn't or shouldn't be together, and then they end up being together anyway, and it's just like, it was just very samey. Do you know what it was? The main issue with me in this series is because there were 7 books, there were 7 siblings, there were 7 sets of couples, plus any extra friends or family. I just couldn't remember a single person because there was just too much going on. So I give this one a 2-star. That's all I'm going to say about it, because we're going to move on to the better books now. The next book I read in the month of July was Say You'll Remember Me. I absolutely loved this one when I read it, but I feel like now looking back, can I remember a lot about it? Absolutely not. I gave this a 5-star, and I'm sat here thinking like, have I actually read this book? But I definitely did. So this one is about Xavier and Samantha, and from what I remember, this one is about Xavier, who I'm pretty sure is a vet. Yes, Xavier is a vet, and basically Samantha goes to him about a dog or something, and they end up meeting. It's a very quick kind of meet cute situation. He asks her on a date, or she asks him on a date like instantly. They end up going out, they end up getting on so well, but their lives just don't really mesh well, and it's kind of one of those things like wrong place, wrong time, or right place, wrong time, or like right couple, wrong time kind of situation. Like, it was a very much they want to be together, but things just kept getting in the way. Oh, I do remember this one now. Yes, it was really cute. It was a 5-star read. It's kind of clicking into my head now. But yeah, with Abby Jimenez, you guys know what you're going to get. It was a beautiful read. It was very found family. It was cozy. You kind of love all the characters. There's no one really in this book that you're like, I don't really like you sort of thing. And there were so many plot twists as well within this book that I really enjoyed that I don't want to give away. One of them was to do with a dog years and years ago, and that was just really beautiful as well, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, another 5-star reader for me. We then have 2 books by Ella Mays, and I'm going to show you them together because I rated them both the same. So the first one was To Love Jason Thorne, and the second one is To Hate Adam Connor. These were both a 3-star read from me. They were okay and they were fun for what they were, but I wouldn't really write home about them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad I got them off my TBR because these have been on there for so incredibly long. It's actually disgusting. But they were really fun and they were really kind of quick to pass the time. Do you know what I mean? So basically the first one, which is To Love Jason Thorne, this is kind of like a childhood friends to lovers situation where he basically is more of a friend of her brother's, and they kind of are friends at a really young age, and then they sort of lose touch. She becomes an author and she basically goes out to find actors to play in her movie of her book, and who does turn up but Jason Thorne, and it kind of goes from there. And he also needs a bit of help with almost like a fake dating, fake marriage situation. So that is this one. Then you've got To Hate Adam Connor, and Adam Connor is basically another actor. Did I say author before? He's an actor, by the way. He's another actor who is friends with Jason, but he's a bit more moody, a little bit more kind of grumpy. He also has a kid, and she ends up, what was her name? Can't even remember. Lucy? Anyway, she ends up like trying to stalk him because she wants to see what he looks like, and then she ends up getting caught. It kind of goes from there. It's a bit of a weird situation, like how they kind of become friends and stuff, but they are neighbours, so it's kind of how they intertwine, and she is a roommate to his partner. Does that make sense? Anyway, they were fun, they were cutesy. Will I read them again? No. But I would recommend if you want something fun, different. Also the spice, very spicy. And last but definitely not least were the last 4 books that I read in the month of July, and I'm going to talk about them all together because I don't want to spoil anything because they are for a reading vlog. So the last 4 books I read in the month of July were Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and also the teeny tiny little novella that is the short story, what's it called? The Short Second Life of Britannia. They're all just here. I'm not going to get them because I honestly can't be bothered. But it's those 4 books there. I'll put them on screen. And I gave every single one, apart from the novella, a 5-star. It was fantastic. I am doing a massive Twilight reread reading vlog, which you guys will see in September, which I'm so excited about. It's been so fun, and I have been filming clips for that as well, as much as I can, which has been really fun. But yeah, honestly, the rereads have been so fun, so nostalgic, just so I just feel like 14 again, and it's been so fun. So I've been really enjoying myself. The novella, I gave a 3-star. It was okay, but it was like 180 pages about someone who I didn't really need to know about. So that's kind of how I felt about that one. But yeah, that is basically my last 4 books that I read in the month of July. And honestly, I'm very impressed with myself, and I feel like I absolutely smashed it. So those are all of the books I read in the month of July. I would love to know down below, what books did you read in the month of July, or let me know what book was your favourite. I would love to know. And yeah, that is everything for today's video. If you guys haven't yet subscribed, please do. I love you guys so incredibly much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.